All right, how's that sound, Jenny? Does that sound better? If you're there, let's see if I can hear. Trying to talk a lot. All right, how's that sound, Jenny? Does that sound better? 120 times better. So as I was saying, I am nervous, I'm excited, I'm emotional. Got some trepidation, confused, like trying to find... I'm starting to find myself, and that's powerful. That's part of what this episode is going to be about, but I'm betting on myself. And when your default is self-loathing, when your default is to be unsure of yourself, it's scary. It's scary, but I would not have said this a few months ago. There's nobody that I would rather bet on than myself, and that's true. Deep down, I always knew that, right? But it's not something that I could have admitted to myself. So that's different. That's different. And this is gonna shock you. So be ready, Jenny. Are you ready? Are you ready? I have an outline for today's show. The very first part is not going to be an outline, but that second part, it's got a little outline to it. For anybody with ADHD knows, it takes a lot. Takes a lot. So let's see how this goes. Let's see how this goes. Yeah, let's get into it. What's up, everybody? Thank you for tapping into Untapped Keg. Whether you're watching on the YouTube or listening to it on podcast services, I cannot thank you enough for jumping in and joining me on this journey we call life. If you don't know, Untapped Keg is a podcast about sobriety and mental health. It's where we spotlight stories that provide hope and love. There are going to be some changes coming to Untapped Keg. First of which, everybody's noticed. The elephant in the room, right? It's been a lot of RJ and not a lot of Monte. Well, that is because we're at different points in our lives where I have found my passion. I have found my calling, and that calling is what Untapped Keg has turned into. Monte's still trying to search for his calling. It's not that he doesn't believe in what Untapped Keg is doing. It's not that he doesn't want to be here. It's that he has a lot going on in his life that he's had, that we've talked about before, that you've listened to for 2 years. And he needs to take a step back. When we set out to start Untapped Keg, we set out as Monte Ball and RJ Zimmerman. And really that wasn't the goal. The goal was Untapped Keg, a show about sobriety so that you didn't feel alone. So that you knew that there were other people out there going through what you are going through. And we lost that for a little while. We lost that. We turned it into the RJ Zimmerman and Monte Ball show, right? And a lot of times it was the Monte Ball, RJ Zimmerman show. We lost the appreciation for the people who tuned in just for 10 minutes, just for 1 minute. And that's something that we are going to be taking back, that I am going to be taking back, right? Untapped Keg is bigger than Monte Ball. It's bigger than RJ Zimmerman. It is going to survive with or without us on camera, with or without us talking to you. It is about showing people love, providing different perspectives on struggles that we all have, right? Everyday struggles. Some of us are doing it through, with our sobriety. Some of us are doing it with mental health. Some of us are doing it with work, right? Parents, we struggle. Let's get some different perspectives from everyday people. Perspectives we didn't even know we needed. Something we often say is we don't know what we don't know. So with this change, Untapped Keg is still going to be happening. Right now, it's still going to be weekly, recorded every Sunday at 10 a.m. unless I post beforehand, hopefully more than a couple hours. Sorry, Jenny, I've been bad at it. I will do better. It'll be moved around so that guests can have the opportunity. So little insight here, little inside baseball, right? And I love baseball. Go Brewers. I see you, Scotty and Kev, in the chat, and I'm sorry your Cubs are so bad. I mean, I wish I could make fun of you, but they're so bad there's nothing to make fun of. It's just like they're there, so at least they show up. But maybe in a couple years we can make fun of each other. But until then, I'm just gonna say good luck. So I like to record on Sundays because it doesn't upset the family schedule very much. And I like 10 a.m. because my kids they got a little bit of the energy out, but they're not super unruly. So it saves the day that I can do stuff after, before I edit the podcast. And I don't take a lot of time away from them. And that's important to me. I could do at night, but then I wouldn't be able to be as loud. I wouldn't be able to be as talkative. I wouldn't be able to be I got to be quiet at night, right? Their room is right next to where I record. So I can't just get super loud. And sometimes I do because I'm passionate. And you've all heard me be passionate. And it sounds like anger. It's from the same cloth, right? It's fire. Passion and anger is fire. So one burns blue and one burns red. And my passion burns blue, which means it's a little bit hotter than what my anger is. So that's a little inside baseball why I like to record when I do. After doing a Twitter poll a couple weeks ago, I've noticed that some people want me to try out some short form content. If you don't know, if you look up Untapped Keg on all social media platforms under Untapped Keg, I record a 1 to 2 minute video in the morning about my mindset journey. So I think I've been very vocal about this change from self-loathing to self-acceptance. You've been on the journey with me. It's really been like 7-8 months of me focusing, trying to be the best me, not just from a sobriety perspective, as a person perspective. It's really been self-reflection. Therapy has helped. Therapy really has helped, but there's a lot of changes going on in my personal life as well that I'll be able to talk about soon. I like to be honest and I like to be vulnerable. Those videos in the morning, they show that. So I highly recommend checking that out. So with those 1 to 2 minute videos, I'm going to find a time that I'm going to create a YouTube playlist and I'm going to put those on YouTube. So I've been shortening them to a minute. Part of that's so that they can go on shorts, YouTube shorts. I want to get better at getting my point across in a condensed fashion. I have ADHD, talked about that a lot. what comes with that somewhat is that I feel the need to add context to everything. So sometimes I struggle shortening things up. So that also helps me to work on that. So we're looking at Untapped Keg, still going to film live for now on YouTube. We are looking at some short form going on YouTube. But if I feel motivated or inspired, I think I'm going to record some off-camera episodes that are shorter, 10 to 15 minutes, and I'll just put them up. And those aren't going to be scheduled. Those are just going to be me talking about what I'm going through, connecting with you, something I thought about. And that's something that I'm kind of excited about. I've seen a lot of podcasts kind of do this, and I think for what Untapped Keg is doing, I think that it would fit the mold. Basically what I'm telling you right now is Untapped Keg is here. There's going to be changes. Please be open to those changes. Please hit that subscribe button, leave a review, share it with your friends. Let's try to get this to as many people so that they know they're not alone, because I'm growing and I would love to grow with you. And it's a lot easier to grow when you have somebody next to you than it is if you feel like you're all alone. So there may be more changes as far as if the live recording continues. I may record the podcast separate. I'll still record it in OBS and post it as a video, but it may not be a live recording. And when I go live, it might just be kind of like let's hang out, let's have some fun. And it'll be like a scheduled thing where we can interact with chat. Other people can come on and we can have fun, we can talk. And we'll go from there. So a little bit about the future. I'm expanding Untapped Keg. I want Untapped Keg to be my career. I want it to be a business. I've taken steps this year to turn it into a business. Part of that is I want to step into the public speaking arena. I didn't know until a few months ago that my story resonated with people. I didn't know until a few months ago people cared what I say. I didn't know that I was motivating. I knew I was a pretty good leader, but I thought that that was an accident. I didn't know that that was me. So with public speaking, there's a variety of things that I could want to talk about, that I want to let people know about. Number one, sobriety. Why that's not the end of your life, right? Why that's the beginning of actually living your life and not hiding from it. Two is mental health. Mental health in men specifically, but this applies to everybody. You feel alone. You feel like a burden when you talk about it. You don't want to put your burden on other people. Like, I want to let people know that that's not how it is, and we need to get through that. We need to move from self-loathing to self-acceptance, and it doesn't start with looking in the mirror and saying I love you, because let me tell you, it doesn't work. All right. And then I want to talk to parents, and I want to talk to businesses about how they treat their employees, about how they treat their workers. I think I could make a difference in all of these areas based on personal experience, things I've learned from people smarter than me, and just honestly my background. What I've learned from textbooks. So along with that, I'm trying to create a business front. a place where recovery is celebrated, where we're not scared, where people can feel safe to come to when they need somewhere to go. It's big, it's bold. I'm not ready to talk about details yet, but I'm going to make it happen. This is going to happen. Untapped Keg is going to be a business. You're going to see other people. You're going to see other facets. You're going to see other content put out there around sobriety and mental health, and it's going to be fun. Because I've talked about this before, but we've lost the fun when we talk about sobriety, when we talk about mental health. There is fun in there. There is laughter. Like, we survived. We got through it. Some of the stuff that we did is funny, right? But there's a moral at the end of it that we shouldn't have done that. But that doesn't mean it's not funny. And we need to find that again. And that's my goal. That's my mission. So we talked about the state of Untapped Keg, the future, what could be coming up. So keep your mind open. I'm going to try like hell to make sure that you don't feel alone. My DMs are going to stay open everywhere. Reach out. I will get back to you. If you need help, I'll help you find the resources. I will be that ear. I'll be that shoulder for you. I'm not going to back down, and I'm not going to turn away. So, with the state of Untapped Keg out of the way, and I'll go more into it when the rebrand happens and we relaunch Untapped Keg. But for now, that's all I got. So here we go into the show. Let's talk about it. This week has been hard. This week has been really hard for parents, for families, for everybody. The problem is it wasn't surprising. That's the problem, right? I was very lucky that on Tuesday, Big Kev and I had our third meeting of the men's group. For those who don't know, it's a Zoom meeting of men that Big Kev from Laugh for a Purpose and I, we facilitate, talking about our emotions, talking about our struggles and our triumphs. And it's just a place to be. You know, some people hate the word safe space, but really what that is you can be yourself without judgment. And that right now, that is what we created with this men's group. And that is all that I wanted. That's all I've wanted in life, is a place where I can be without judgment. So with the emotions of this week, it made me reflect on where I am as a person. So, you know, growing up as a man, we're taught that you have to be strong, you have to provide for your family, you have to trudge through, you have to keep going. I was reminded this week, specifically on Friday, of cycles that I've gone through in my life. And it's years that these cycles happen, right? You know, when I was a sophomore in college, maybe a junior, my best friend got cancer and he passed out at work and they had to take him in an ambulance and he was in the hospital for a little while. I didn't know if he was going to make it. Nobody knew. It's cancer. I had to be strong. And so people told me I had to be strong for him. I understand. I was. I showed up. I was there. But a few years later, the emotions finally caught up to me. I was so good at suppressing emotions and putting the shell up people had no idea that underneath, I was in trouble. I think that people might have known from my drinking, but you couldn't tell from just looking at me that I struggled with who I was. I struggled with what I was feeling. I struggled with everything. I didn't even know what it was. It was just quick trigger. I'm angry. I remember watching the movie 50-50 by myself. I used to go to the movies by myself a lot. And it was kind of like just my Zen place where I could hang out. For those who don't know, it's a Joseph Gordon-Levitt movie with Seth Rogen. And it's a comedy, right? But it's very heavy about getting cancer and not knowing if you're going to make it. And there is funny moments in there, but there's a part where he goes into surgery and his best friend, who's Seth Rogen, gets absolutely obliterated drunk. And he asks him, why is it bothering you that much that it's not bothering me like this? And it's like, I felt all the words in that exchange, in that conversation. And I realized that I was not over that. And I lost it. I lost it for about half a day. I cried, I slept. I texted people that I felt I did wrong. I was I was a bad son. I was a bad brother. I was everybody that I felt like I let down in my life because I had no direction in my life. I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I was doing nothing. So, everybody thought something was wrong. Well, there was something wrong. I held on to those emotions and I didn't release them for 3-4 years. That's the cycle that I would do. I would go a year, 2, 3, not really showing any emotion, laughing, unsure what to do, feeling these deep depths, being sad. I would do all of this until it just got to a breaking point. And I think that's a lot of men in the world right now. I think we go through these depths and we try to hold everything back. We don't feel like we can talk to anybody because as soon as we talk, people tell us to suck it up, stop being dramatic. People tell us that they don't want to hear that. Grow up. Time to be a man and go to work and provide for your family. This week, I've been sad all week. I've had this feeling of malaise. Everything has felt low. Even the highs, they felt low. And I didn't hide from it this time. I didn't hide from the sadness. I didn't feel shame. I didn't feel guilt. I didn't push it away. I accepted it. I grabbed it. And I told myself it's okay to feel this way. It's normal. It's what every human feels. And that's something that has changed in the past 6 months that you've watched on this podcast, to be honest. You've watched this change. Not only did I not hide, but I embraced. And Friday, I was just unsure. I didn't know what I was feeling, how to feel, what to do. So I started watching TikTok videos. And I don't watch TikTok, not like this, where you scroll down. I didn't even know you scrolled down or whatever to see more videos. Like, that's how little I watch it. But I got to a video of, people asking a question. When you are depressed, when you're sad, when you feel like there's nothing going right, who can you talk to? And it was a video of a lot of men saying, No one. And that was me. That was me a few months ago. That's something that I've changed. I've changed because I've been open to relationships not being traditional, not being somebody I work with, not being somebody who I've known forever. I've been open to new ones. Like, I have people I can call when I'm not feeling, when I feel nothing's right, when I feel everything starting to stack up against me in the world. I have people that I can call. It's different. It's different. It's scary, right? It's scary, especially when you think that you are not good enough to have that. When you think that nothing you do is ever going to be good enough. I asked the question on Friday to people, have you ever felt appreciated in your life? And I was so happy because I knew what I meant, but sometimes when you know what you mean, you can't find the words. And Emma, Imagination on Twitter and Twitch, watch her content, super wholesome. Twitch.tv/imagination, EMMA, Janation. She commented back and said, I am just now learning the difference between useful and appreciation. And that's what I meant, but I couldn't figure out the word useful. Have you ever felt appreciated and not just useful? The answer for me is no. And I know that that's twofold, right? I know that that is partially the relationships that I've had, partially the people that I've been around, but part of it is myself too. Part of it is my fear that if I'm not useful, people aren't going to want me around, aren't going to allow for me to be me. That's part of the reason that I was such a chameleon. Part of the reason that I shifted who I was, because I wanted to be accepted. Because I thought that that would lead to appreciation, but it wasn't, and growing up, watching my father as a role model, he was everything that I said I was raised to be. That shell on the outside. Nothing got to him. He went to work every day. He was rarely sick. I remember one time he had a cast on his leg, and I can't remember if he sprained his ankle really bad and they put a cast on to immobilize it, or if he actually did break something. He was supposed to keep it on for, 2 weeks, a month. It was winter. We had a ton of snow. He takes out his pocket knife because his coworker had to come and snow blow the snow, because I'm young at this point. I might be 9 or 10. I can't shovel all the snow that we got. We got like 18 inches in 2 days, maybe more. And so his coworker had to come with the snowblower from work and basically dig us out. And my dad was so mad. I don't know if he was embarrassed. I don't know what led up to it, but he takes his pocket knife out of his pocket and he cuts this cast off. And I remember him saying, F this, and not censoring himself, I'm fine. It's going to happen. And he went to work the next day. Doctor said I could. Full duty. And that right there is that's how I saw my dad. My dad is a superhero. He was always a superhero to me. And it's not that he was useful. I mean, it's because he was my dad. I looked up to him. I still do. I still look up to that person. But I've come to realize that I don't want to be a superhero. I don't want to not let things affect me anymore. I don't want to let bad things happen to me and people just be like, oh, it's RJ, he'll be okay. I don't want that anymore. I don't want people to see me like that. Because it leads to only feeling useful and not feeling appreciated and feeling alone. Not being able to talk to people. And god damn it, my dad was a great superhero. He still is. But that's not me. And I'm ready to be RJ. Not be a hero. I want to show my sons it's okay to talk about your feelings, to express them. It's okay to cry. I'm not going to hide my tears anymore. I'm not going to hide my pain. I'm not going to suffer for other people like I used to. And that is the difference between my old mindset and where I am now. Not backing away, embracing this cycle. In our men's group on Tuesday night, we posed a question: are you happy? I always answer it with a question, right? What does happiness mean? What is happiness to you? My answer this time is finding content. That being your neutral. Your neutral isn't a super high or a super low, it's just you're content. That's fleeting, that's hard to find. But what I've come to realize over the past few months is content and happiness is through the pain. It's not around it, it's not over it. It's not tucking it underneath the rug. It's not putting it in the closet, shutting the door, stacking everything so high so as soon as you open it, everything comes crashing down like those cartoons, and all of a sudden you're covered in crap. It's through it. It's allowing the sadness to happen. That was the lesson I had to learn. Was that there's no shame in feeling sadness. There's no shame in feeling guilt. There's no shame in being ashamed. There's no shame in your emotions. Not only is it natural, there's a lot of strength that comes along with feeling what is happening to you and figuring out how you can take that and express it in a healthy way. I was put on to 2 songs, right? One of them by my good friend, Big Kev, at Laugh for a Purpose. Go check out that podcast, Laugh for a Purpose, all about mental health. Save Me by Jelly Roll. That song, that's powerful. It's such a powerful song. Like, it's written from the heart. It's sung from the heart. It's sung from a place of understanding. So I had that song, and then I listened to another song, Dear Alcohol by Dax. I've heard that song before, but I finally listened to it. That's a really powerful song as well. So I left those 2 songs on repeat, and I probably listened to them 6-8 times. And it was the expression that I needed for my emotions. And then I decided to check out some of Dax's other work and his album that he released. I want to get the name to make sure that I have it correct. Pain Paints Paintings. It is a very, very powerful album. I cannot recommend it enough. Listen to it. It is a lot of real life. It's emotional. It's raw. But it gets down to it. You can be in that same mindset, and it's amazing at how it can help you release. And you know what? Overall, this going through this cycle for the first time and being okay, understanding, embracing this cycle of sadness, of emotions, the thing that I am starting to feel, and it feels selfish and it feels arrogant, especially when I say it on a recording and I'm talking about myself, I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of myself for the changes that I've made, for keeping this top of mind, for trying, because that's all we can do is try. I'm proud of myself, and yes, that still feels selfish, and yes, it still feels arrogant, but you know what? Saying I'm an alcoholic had a little bit of shame. Saying I'm an alcoholic was scary, but it's not anymore. So the more that I say that out loud, the more that I talk about it, and the more that I mean it. I still don't look in the mirror and say I love you, but I do look in the mirror and I'm starting to like what I see. And that is a step that's on the way. Something sobriety teaches us about life is it's one day at a time. Something that sobriety teaches us is it's one step at a time. We can take that and use it in so many different facets of our life. Whether it's you're starting to learn your emotions, whether it's you're starting to evaluate your relationships of the people around you. Because that's something we have to do. Are you appreciated? If you're sick and you're laying in bed and you can't do anything, are you appreciated? Or are there comments about how I wish that I got this when I was sick? When you're not at your best day and you don't know what's going on and you're sluggish and you forget a bunch of stuff, do people get mad at you? I'm talking coworkers too, because listen, we spend too much time at work to have to feel that. It's time to evaluate our relationships because we deserve to be appreciated. And it's time to talk about our emotions. Talk about why it's okay to feel them. And that's what I want to leave you with, is that as somebody who came from toxic masculinity, you can't feel anything. You can't even feel happiness. You have to feel anger. To taking a video of myself crying after I'm watching a TikTok video because I just had a realization that I've never felt true acceptance in my life. And understanding that that is not just an everybody else problem. That's also a me problem because I hate myself. So how could anybody accept me when I can't accept myself? Like, I mean, that's a realization all on its own, right? This is where we start. This is where we grow together. This is where Untapped Keg is going. It's not about me. It's not about Monte. It's not about what I'm doing. It's about the community that we are building. It's about growing together. It's about loving one another. And whether you say love, whether you say like, whether you say respect, we're talking about the same thing. We can make a change. That's the thing, is we have more power than we realize around everybody else around us, right? We don't affect the actions of other people, the thoughts of other people. We don't affect those things. We don't have control over that, but we have control over the environment that we create, the culture that people can talk to us about whatever, because when we talk about it, guess what? We can start to problem solve if need be. If we talk about it, you can start to hear the solutions in your own voice, because when you talk about it, the words start to untangle. things start to become more clear. And it may lead us to a place where we don't know what to do, but at least you'll be at that place with somebody else. Somebody else who can help us take our hand and walk us through it. And we don't have to be alone. That's what I want to also throw out there. You're not alone. Not just I'm there. I've been there. I'm there right now. I will be there again in the future, because when you are 35 years of self-loathing, when you are 35 years of feeling alone, when you are 35 years of feeling you're not enough, it doesn't just change overnight. It takes time. And guess what? The time is always going to be there. So I'm going to work every single day to be the best RJ. I'm going to work every single day to understand what I'm feeling, why I'm feeling it, and allowing it to happen and not be ashamed. I'm going to work every single day trying to help others not feel alone. I would love it if you would join me. This has been Untapped Keg, a podcast about sobriety and mental health, where we spotlight stories that provide hope and love. Find us on all podcast platforms. Hit that subscribe button, leave us a 5-star review. Let us know in the comments what you think. YouTube.com/UntappedKeg, you can find all the videos. Soon you'll be able to find the short form videos. And eventually we'll have a newsletter going out too that will have a link to that month's short videos. So there are things happening. Look out for the rebrand, look out for changes. I will be open, I will be honest. We'll try to work together to create an environment where when somebody asks you, everything's going wrong, nothing's going right in your life, and you're feeling really down, do you have somebody you can call? I want that answer to be yes. And I'm going to help try to create an environment where that is a yes. And we're not scared to say yes. And we're not scared to be ourselves. Because being yourself is what is going to lead to being proud when you look in that mirror. Have a good week, everybody. My DMs are open if you need it. Untapped Keg on all social media. Try to be better tomorrow than we were today. At least if we don't make it, we tried. I love you. I'll stay on for a little bit because this was a shorter episode, chat. I see you, Scotty. I see you, Kev. I see you, Waba. Thanks for coming through. Jenny, I love you too. What do you guys think? Was it a little bit more organized? Because I had an outline. The first part, I did not have an outline. And I felt myself going down the rabbit hole. But, I'm trying to put timestamps into stuff. And I totally forgot to write it down because it's solo. I don't know how to do that. I didn't take a drink like most of the episode because it's solo. So Big Kev says the outline wins. My ADHD is killing me right now because I'm gonna have to make an outline. I'm just gonna have to have the notebook around me so that when I'm thinking about it, at the park, wherever, I can write it down. I actually wrote most of this down while I was driving. Don't tell anybody. Don't do that. Don't be distracted driving. So, I appreciate it, Kev. I appreciate it, Jenny. How did your panel go, Jenny? I think I might have texted you that, or if I didn't, I meant to, and I did it in my brain and my ADHD took over. But Scotty, I'm learning all of this on the fly, man, with you. So I appreciate that. Thank you for that. It worked. It seemed that it did. I threw some stuff in there that wasn't on the outline, but that's okay. That's part of me. And I actually outlined a speech last night too, which was interesting. So check your Twitter DMs after you're done. Rissa is on tonight with Adam, so hopefully you can join them. Oh yeah, you got your pay-per-view. It went really well. We can talk about it later. Good. I'm glad it went well. I told you deserve to be there. So now you just proved to yourself that you deserve to be there. You deserve it. Like, you deserve all of it. So one thing I did not mention with the changes is we're going to have a new intro music, intro on just about everything. So that's going to be a little bit of a change. I have to come up with a new bio for the show. All of this stuff it's a lot. And sometimes I stink at thinking of how to write things down in a way where it flows and it makes sense. So that's where, like, having the notebook really helps, because it's something that I struggle with forcing how to write things. But sometimes I hit a mindset where it's like, oh, this is actually really good. I need to write this down. So, like, I wrote some stuff down with my notes. And actually, that turned out really good. Like, I read it to Kev last night, and he was like, wow. So here, I'll actually read it to you all right now. I'm glad the bullet points worked for you, Jenny. That's what my outlines are, basically, are bullet points. So here's what I have for Untapped Keg. I think I'm going to put this as the bio. And any time that we have an ad, I think that this might be, like, I need to make ads and put them up, to be honest. And I need to get back into my video editing and start cutting out shorts. That's something I have to do. So, Untapped Keg, a podcast exploring sobriety through the lens of stories from everyday people. Looking for new perspectives to daily challenges so that we can all learn from one another. Providing a community of support and growth. Find the podcast on all podcast services. Find the videos at youtube.com/untappedkeg. I look forward to growing with you. What do y'all think? Was that not bad, not terrible, like, works for the most part? It wasn't super easy, so there's that. But I think that, I don't know. Just when I get into that mode, whether I'm at work, no matter what I'm doing, I think that I need to stop what I'm doing and write it down. So I can do that. I appreciate everyone being here. Appreciate all of you. So Scotty and Kev, what's that pay-per-view you're talking about? Is that AEW? Is that the one tonight? Is AEW better than WWE? Because that's what I heard. Yippers AEW. Oh, I like that. I like that, Scotty. So Scotty says, I love it, but be open to adding or taking away. When Scotty writes jokes, I always tell myself there's a better punchline. Even if the joke is fire, I stay open-minded. I like that. Okay, so AEW is good wrestling. WWE is horribly written and too predictable. That sounds about right. That's like society. That's what we like right now, right? Like, feels like predictability is high. The substance doesn't have to be there, and people still, because it's comfort, we kind of like it. So Jenny, are you taking tomorrow off, or are you gonna try to be there with breakfast and feelings? Tomorrow being a holiday, I think I'm gonna go to the beach with the boys again tomorrow. You're gonna stream tomorrow? No days off for Jenny? Well, hopefully I can make it in. I'm hoping I'll be able to watch from my phone at the very least. These boys, I tell you what, they woke up at 5:30 this morning ready to go, and I'm like, no, it is still lay down time. We are not doing this morning. And it did not work, and I was like, oh my goodness. Oh, Kev, that is hilarious. She is gonna be like, who's Piers Morgan? And look it up and be like, oh, Piers Morgan, he's got some good takes, right? You set her up for failure there. The problem is that flights from the UK are cheap. So, and Adam's looking for a little vacation. I'm sure they were just choice words, Kev. They were just choice. How did the viewing of your catfish go, Jenny? Was that Friday? I think it was Friday, right? I've been so busy, like I just feel like I've felt it like this for a while, right? There's not enough time in the day, but honestly, I don't have enough energy for the day. So it's like, I've been really top of mind about when I need to go to bed and rest, but it's been taken away from doing podcast stuff. Like, I do things here and there, but I need to start slamming that stuff home again. So I think it's going to start shortly. I'm going to be putting a lot into it. So any of you got any questions? Otherwise, probably gonna end it. Thanks for hanging out with me afterwards. If I change from live recording, like, this is kind of what I think the hangout could be, where we record something live and just hang out and answer questions and talk about things. Couple cool interviews coming up that I'm excited about. I'm trying to get Dax on. We'll see if that works. Kev, I tweeted that out this morning. I don't know what happened to my first one. I know for a fact I typed it all out. I feel like maybe I didn't hit send and then it just deleted itself, because that happens sometimes on Twitter. But thanks, Scotty. I really appreciate it. I love you too. We'll talk soon. Yeah, the one thing that I'm gonna have to work on is talking about myself and not feeling it's selfish or arrogant, because that's gonna be big for me to get through. That's like right up there with identifying that I was self-loathing, like just breaking through that. So But all right, you all have a fantastic day. I'll talk to all of you all soon. So I'm not going to say that Y apostrophe ALL. It's not happening. I'm not going into it. I'll still say you guys. I'm not losing it. So I did find out that I say wagon weird for the people around here. They think I say WEGON when I'm saying WAGON. Does this sound weird to all of you? Wagon? That's exactly how I say it. Wagon. So, I know I say gone weird. I don't know where that comes from. It almost sounds Boston when I break it down. I've never been to Boston, but I've said it that way since I was a little kid. Gone. But all right, have a good day. Have a good week. I'm here for you. I love you.